Hello everyone, it's Victoria and I hope you're all doing well. I just saw a television show, I guess it was a television show in the UK that I found it on YouTube, of an experiment that was done with the best experts, so-called best experts in the world. That's what they said, and I think that's pretty, you gotta be pretty confident to say you're the best in the world. But anyway, that's what they said, that's what they claimed. And they had an experiment where all these obese people either had a couple of weeks or a week long to discover which kind of diet was right for them. And they had gripping mechanisms, and they showed them food in front of them, and there was 3 different categories of types of eaters, which I think is crazy because I think that we all have different types of ways of eating, different times of the year, different times of our week, different times of emotions. So they had emotional eaters, they had feasters, and they had, what was the other one? Constant cravers. Okay, you'll constantly crave something when you don't eat something with nutrition. You'll constantly have an emotional state if you are constantly stressed. You will constantly feast. They say it's because you don't have a hormone. Maybe that's true, but you'll constantly feast if there's no fiber in the meal, and if it's weighted down with a lot of oil and you know, like just junk fluff, then yes, you may not get, you know, satisfied. So there are and environment plays a big role. Okay, environment, stress, all those levels play a big role in your body, and the fact that you're not getting the nutrients that you need. The experiment was done with very little vegetables, and people were eating and eating and eating. Okay. They were experiments conducted by universities. Okay, let's just point out that the universities are all funded by meat and dairy companies. So of course that they're going to put them in a high protein diet thinking that that's going to be the solution, but obviously it's not, because how many people are obese that are eating high protein? They're eating high protein and carbs. So if they don't have carbs and now they suddenly just have protein and high fat, they're going to stay on this? I mean, it's obviously not going to work long term, and we don't have the resources to give the people long term anyway, because the planet cannot source that many animals to give long term. So thank God there are vegetarians out there that are not getting all these animals to feed them. And you don't need animals to be fed. We know this now. It's 2015, and this experiment was just done. So many holes in this diet. I'll put a link below, and you can actually make your own comments. And I just found it very, yes, engaging in the beginning. It was like an hour and 26 minutes. I was engaged in the beginning. I'm like, wow, oh, you know, it's very easy to believe, because even me, who knows better, I'm still like intrigued by, wow, maybe there are new studies. Maybe there are things about me that I don't know about. Maybe I am an emotional eater. Yeah, we're all emotional eaters. We'd all like to eat food, you know, when we're emotionally either happy or sad. You know, who cares? The point is that, yeah, deal with it, you know. That's what you have in your grip, and this is what you need to deal with. And people are not addressing the issues. They didn't show much movement. They didn't encourage exercise. They put them on high protein, low glycemic index diets. And what they didn't show was that these people were eating, I mean, what they didn't point out was, and that I've noticed, they were eating high fat and high carb together. Now, if they just went carbs and did a lot of fruits and vegetables, I guarantee they would get the nutrients met and they wouldn't be eating as much. But they didn't even do that experiment because they said fruit was out. So if we were designed to eat fruit, which I think humans were, because it's like amazing how people don't know that yet. I mean, fruits grow on trees. Hello, money doesn't grow on trees, but fruit does, and we are designed to pick them with our hands, and we are attracted to it, and it has vibration and high water content, and we need that when we were migrating through life. So it just doesn't make sense that experiments are done like this. Now, they said get a support group if you're an emotional eater. Okay, they also restricted the calories. So if I was an emotional eater and I wasn't getting enough calories, you better bet your ass I would be binging my ass off, okay? Then, secondly, they said to get supporters. Okay, if you're fat, most likely you'll want to stay with fat people. When the fat person loses weight and the other fat person doesn't, it's like there's a shift. They want to go a different way. Fat people like to stay with fat people. That's just the way things are. When one gets skinny, there's a threat. Nobody wants to stay with them if they're fat. I mean, the fat people don't want to stay with the skinny people anymore because you're just not in the same group. Misery loves company. Yes, it does. Also like to point out control. Now, this wasn't part of the experiment, but control is a very big thing to understand. This is just a side thing. The more you try to control people, things, anything in your life, the more you're a slave to trying to control things, people, anything in your life. So, if you surrender, you will let go and allow things to just happen. If you try to control, you're counterproductive because you're a slave to it. And then you have no control. Get what I'm saying? All right. Well, these are my thoughts, and post your comments down below or post your comments on this video that I'm going to put a link to, because I find it very disheartening to see people lost the way they are and then having them run around in a maze thinking, oh, well, the experts said so. And how are they experts? Some of these experts, so-called experts, were overweight themselves, and some were probably not even healthy. We don't even know. We don't have their blood tests. We don't know anything about these scientists. We don't know anything about these experts. So do your homework. Just know that the research is done. There's always a new research done. Oh, more fat, more coffee, more chocolate, more this, more that, more dairy. You do the math. I've done all of these kinds of diets. I've done high protein diet, and yes, I lost weight, but it didn't work long term. The minute I had a carb, which I'm gonna have eventually, I started blowing up. So if you want to do something long term and change your lifestyle, eat a lot more fruits and vegetables. Be smart. Don't listen to the hype. Don't listen to all this bullshit that's out there. It really is bullshit. And I was even getting caught up. Me, who's in this over 10 years. It's very easy, it's very sexy to get caught up in all of these fads and these so-called experts telling you what's up and what's not up. And that's why these magazines are thriving. And it all comes down to the same thing. What's the end result of getting thin? Get better social life? You get more money? What is it? Is it your health? They know it's going to appeal to something, so that's why these magazines are getting you geared to think like the way they want you to think. The meat and dairy industries are very, very savvy. They know exactly what to do. And if these so-called tests didn't allow dairy and meat to get into their, experiment and encourage it, they wouldn't have a test to make, because these tests cost money. Who's going to pay all these experts to do anything? Think about it. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.